Hey guys, and welcome back to another video on my prep cycle. Thanks for following, and I appreciate that everyone likes me talking about my cycles and stuff. I'm getting back into that now, but I'm just making sure I'm much more accurate with what I say. So I'm currently 9.5 weeks out from my first show, and my coach just updated my cycle to all short esters, and it's actually now the biggest cycle I've ever done. It's not the biggest cycle I've done in one, so I've front loaded quite a lot of steroids in 1 week before, like 1.5 grams worth, but I've never done a cycle of over a gram consistently for 10 weeks. So I'm going to go through what I was taking for the first 5 weeks of my prep to what I'm taking now. So to begin with, I was taking 400 tren enthate and 400 test sip. Nice slow ester drugs. I prefer slow esters because I have to jab less frequently. I've actually never done short esters, and I've already noticed some differences between short and long, but I'll explain that in a second. So yeah, the previous cycle was 400 simple. It's helped me get pretty lean already, and it's helped me gain a lot of like size and roundness. My shoulders has come back, my back thickness has come out, my legs have really come in defined, and they're growing on my cut. You can grow on a cut with these drugs, and I've got fortunate genetics as well. When you get everything on point with these drugs, crazy things can happen. It's just getting on point and being really focused and sticking to your program exactly is key. And this is the first time in my life I've honestly done that. So the next 10 weeks, I'm really excited to see just how much more I can push it. I'm even more dedicated now. So cycle-wise, new cycle is 300 milligrams of tren ace, 300 milligrams of test prop, and 450 milligrams of primobolan ace. So reason switching to short esters is because it holds less water retention. Simple as that really. Shorter esters hold less water. So for 10 weeks up to the show, I'll be doing these exact oils. These will not change. So it's a total of 1,050 milligrams a week. And it's the most physical amount of oil I've ever had to inject as well, of 9 cc or 9 mil a week. So I'll explain how that's broken down. So it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday injection because of the really short half-life of these prop and ace esters. So very simply, it's 1 cc of each of these every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So 1 cc of tren, 1 cc of test, and 1 cc of primo. The primo is 150 milligrams per cc. The other two are 100 milligrams per cc. Short esters have lower dosage per cc generally, so it's a lot more oil than, like the most oil I've ever really done in a week is 5 mil. So to go up to 9 is a lot more, and I've already got quite a lot of scar tissue on my glutes because that's all I've ever jabbed. So I did my first jab of this yesterday morning, and it's now like the afternoon the day after, and I went into a bit of scar tissue, and it's just so hard to push the oil in because it's all like knotted and scarred up. There are lots of areas on my glute which are scar free, and it makes it much easier to go in, but on the safer areas, which I've gone in loads and loads and loads of times, it's just built up scar tissue. So now I'm having to find new points to jab. So my coach has told me to do my lats, really interestingly. And it's one I never really thought about. Like, people think about your shoulders and your quads, pretty common, but there's like a ton of nerves in your shoulders are quite shallow. I'm worried about doing like 3 cc in a shoulder. It's not a very big muscle. And in your quads, there's loads of nerves, loads of veins to hit. It's apparently there's like a 1 in 5 chance of hitting a vein if you do your quads. So it's really not something I want to do. But apparently lats, so you basically put your arm out in front and pin around here. So when I do my first lat jab, or get my girlfriend to do it, I'll tell you what it feels like and how much pip there is. But generally pinning 3 cc's on my glutes, I never get pip, like ever. My body is just so used to it now that it's fine with absorbing it. And I know the sweet spots my body likes. Lats is going to be interesting. I'm not even sure how long a needle I need, probably 1 inch. But I don't want to obviously go too far in and hit some nerves. So I'm going to do some research first before I do it, call my coach up, find out. And I'll get back to you once I've done my first one in my lat. But yeah, it's a lot of oil, and after these 10 weeks are up, I'm going to go back to long esters. I really don't nobody likes jabbing. So having it done 3 times a week for 10 weeks, 30 injections, it's a lot. And they're all big full syringes, like, so. Now this may seem like a massive cycle, but honestly for regular contest prep for like bodybuilding now, it's pretty standard to do like 300, 300, 300. The only reason the Primo is a bit higher is because it's slightly weaker than Masteron, so we're doing a slightly higher dose. Reason I'm picking Primobolan over Masteron as well is Masteron really makes my skin terrible, for one, and it also absolutely destroys my cholesterol levels. Even though I'm eating pretty clean, my bad cholesterol just skyrockets and my good cholesterol drops, no matter how I eat really. So it's just one drug that I'm not going to take. So Primo seems like a good alternative, and we'll see how that affects me. But I've also taken Accutane. So yeah, I'll go into the AI as well that I'm taking on this cycle. So along with the oils, I'm taking 1 milligram of Arimidex a week to stop testosterone aromatization, and I'm taking 2 milligrams of Cabergoline a week to stop the negative effects from tren, which is really important. Like, I'm going to do stuff on tren in future, because I've had the first cycle I did of tren I did without Caber, and the difference is so much without to with in terms of side effects, especially mental side effects, but also just stuff like night sweats, insomnia, just lots of issues if you run tren without Caber or Prami. But I'll go into that in a lot more detail in other videos. I also like to point out, a lot of people before have messaged me about tren, and they're like, I've been taking tren for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, I'm not really feeling anything. And I'm like, send me a picture of the vial. And the oil they've got is a really light colour. Now, no tren is a light colour, especially Tren Ace. So this is the colour of my Tren Ace vial, just by the way. It's a really dark, like apple juice kind of browny, or like orange colour, like really dehydrated piss colour. So Ace is really dark. Tren's slightly lighter than that. And then regular test products, let's just show you what a test looks like in comparison. Testosterone in comparison, if you look at the difference in colour. So in between those two colours is kind of what Tren Nth will look like. So if you're getting stuff and it's not that colour for tren wise, it's definitely fake. And another way you can tell whether your gear is real just by looking at it visually is if you look at the bottles, you'll see, especially when you load it up into a syringe, you'll see these little bubbles in it even when you've pushed all the air out. Those bubbles are actually the hormones sitting in the oil. So if you're seeing bubbles floating around in there, you know it's probably dosed correctly just by eyeballing it. Obviously you don't know until you get a proper test done on it. I've tested all the stuff I used before, and I obviously tested it on my body and my clients as well. So I know it's good stuff, I know it works, I know the dose is what it says it is, because I've had all these, I spent a bit of money initially getting these tests done, so I know it's good to go. And because it's a small brand as well, it's not faked yet, you know. So when these big brands get popular, I'm trying to think of one now, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. But when a brand gets well known, people mimic it, they copy the packaging exactly, but make a really watered down version and sell it online. And people think they're getting a certain product when actually they're getting something completely fake and weak. So it's often better to go for a slightly smaller, less known brand that's only got like one producer than someone that's like really well known, because they're often faked to get extra money out of it. Just a point, you know, to give you some tips if you're doing cycles or whatever, how to not get conned out of money. So people may be wondering how much all this costs, because it looks like quite a lot. Actually doesn't cost that much. In terms of the oils, it's costing me about £30 a week, which is around $35-ish. And in terms of the AI, it's costing me about £10 a week. So the whole cycle, and it's a big cycle at the moment, is £40 a week. So like $45, $50, that sort of range per week. Which is, honestly, with all the crap I've cut out of my diet, it kind of equates to that cost, because I was eating a lot of rubbish, spending a lot of money on like expensive branded treat food and stuff over Christmas. And so now I've actually cut that out, the money balance is kind of the same, and I feel so much better just by cutting out all this bad food. Like, I'm really on point with the diet, which makes such a difference when you're on a cycle like this. Like, if you get the diet on point, your body does crazy good things. That's how much it costs, and differences I'm feeling on cycle I'll go for as well, because I'm really surprised already. Some changes from the short esters from the long esters. So immediately, within like 2 days, I've dried out quite a lot. Like, a lot of water weight has dropped off me, especially around the lower ab region on my quads. And veins have started just popping out of my quads out of nowhere, even though I've had like low carbs and things like that. So already I can see physical differences, but there was also some other differences I noticed. So this may have just been coincidence, but I struggled to sleep last night, and I never struggled to sleep on Nth. Insomnia is a common problem with tren. Well, I didn't struggle to sleep so much, but it took me a lot longer to get to sleep than normal. So I'll get back to this and see if sleeplessness becomes an issue on ACE, because milligram for milligram ACE is a lot stronger, and maybe the levels spiking and dropping in my blood more regularly is going to cause some kind of issues with sleep. Hopefully not, but I'll get back to you on that one. Secondly, I was feeling a lot more aggressive. Things in my head that shouldn't really have been a problem, I was kind of overthinking and making me angry. Just petty little things, really, that just would not normally bother me. Already, I've started to make me like a bit frustrated. So I'm just making sure that in situations I just stay calm and be like, okay, you know, if I'm getting a bit angry, is it actually worth getting angry, or is it just the trend that's making me angry? And if you think like that and you stay pretty chill, then you're not going to do anything stupid. Without Caber though, you don't have that control, I find. But yeah, ACE has definitely already made me more aggressive. Slightly more energy, but not so much. I'm going to give it a week before I can obviously give a decent review of how different it is. But I'm already feeling slight changes. Also, fasted cardio this morning. My cardio has instantly dropped. Now, that can only be because of the tren ACE, I'm sure of it. So normally, I do my cardio on the Stairmaster, level 5. I don't know if that equates to the same on different machines, but my heart rate normally is around 135, doing the rate of cardio I'm normally doing. Today, my heart rate was up more near 145, and I definitely found I was breathing heavier. So that's something I'm going to keep track of, because obviously I don't want my cardio to drop too badly. But yeah, top end cardio on tren really drops down like a lot. So I'll keep note of my heart rate on cardio, but instantly in one day up 10 beats a minute. And whenever I've done cardio for the last month and a half, my heart rate has stayed 135 solidly. It has not changed. And suddenly I take tren ACE and it's bumped up 10 beats a minute. So, you know, I'll see if that's just a random outlier, but I feel like it could be because of the drugs, and they do kick in incredibly quickly because they're a short half-life. So yeah, exciting things are happening. These short esters and the Primo should start making me look really crazy very quickly. I'm seriously on point with diet now. My training is very hard. I'm getting 30 to 45 minutes of fasted cardio 5 to 6 times a week. I'm just taking it seriously now, like properly seriously, and I want to prove myself. Last year I was not in the right mental headspace at all to compete. I had a few health issues with my liver and stuff, which is why I kind of stopped trying to compete as well, and everything just sort of went to shit. This year, totally different. Everything is going perfectly, and also this year I've got a few friends who are doing the same shows as me, so it's really I'm able to talk to them about how they're doing, what they're doing compared to my coach, etc. And it's making it a lot easier to stay motivated as well, because it's like a competition between my friends at some point. So yeah, hopefully some of them will be in videos as well, so you can see what they're sort of looking like. One of my friends, Rahil, he's doing classic as well, but I think he'll be in a much lower height category than me. And my friend David is going to be doing physique, because he's 6'3". He really struggles just to get that sheer mass. In fact, he might be 6'4" even. So he just can't build that big leg mass you need for classic. But yeah, that's what I'm on at the moment. Biggest cycle I've ever been on, but in general it's not that massive. It's actually pretty standard for people doing these amateur shows, believe it or not. I've talked to a lot of people now who've done shows, and this is pretty standard. So also in 4 weeks time I'm adding in orals, as my coach suggested, or is telling me to do for the last 6 weeks, but I'll talk about that when they come in. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying this. Back to being open as possible, and I'll catch you for next video. I've chucked in some arm workout stuff in here, which a little bit we did today. But yeah, things are going good, really focusing on my weak points, and I'm just excited to see what I can bring in 9.5 weeks time. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.